gonna let me know. Should I stay or should I go? Should I stay or should I go now? Should I stay or should I go now? If I go there will be trouble, and if I stay it will be double. So come on.
They can ride down things like Skyline at Stromlo, which is basically a pretty hard ride. They'll actually do the rock garden at Stromlo as well on unicycles. Anybody who's into mountain bike riding, you know, respect.
And how good is it to have the national championships here in Canberra?
Oh, it's so good. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be my first one.
Is it growing in popularity?
In Canberra it is, and in Australia too. It's relatively young in Australia, so we've only had a club here for about 10 years, and in that time it's for example, the national events, they're growing, you know, each year by 50 entrants.
How many people are likely to come to Canberra for the nationals?
We're probably looking at in the hundreds.
Unicycle rider with a 26 tire on my one wheel. I'm on a one wheel. I'm on a one wheel.
And the word clown is specifically banned around here. It's just not used. That's the C word.
Yeah. No, you just get a bit tired of it, you know. Oh, can you juggle as well? You know, which some of these guys can do. It's sort of an old joke.
I don't think of it as a clown sport at all. We think of it as a sport.
People yell out stuff like, where's your other wheel and stuff like that. But there's a bit of respect as well.
That's not funny.
We're not clowns, we just enjoy unicycling, and it can be a sport in some countries.
Lots of countries. It's a sport in lots of countries.
Yeah.
So it's half the wheels and twice the fun. Is that how it gets sold?
Yeah, that'd be a good way of summing it up, yeah. Yeah, that's good. I like that. Can we use that?
That's yours.
On my one wheel.
Only for the brave. And that competition starts tonight in Garema Square and continues until Monday.
And Canberra's International Film Festival gets underway.
It's a really eclectic program, which is what a film festival should be. There's films from many different parts of the world.
Canberra's International Film Festival kicks off with a spy thriller tonight, and moviegoers will be subjected to tight security measures just to get in. Organisers managed to secure the Naomi Watts and Sean Penn movie Fair Game for the opening night, but on very strict conditions. It's yet another coup for the event, which last year featured the world premiere of Oscar winner The Hurt Locker. Kathleen Dyatt reports.
Valerie, your name is in the paper. It says you're a CIA agent.
Another coup for the Canberra International Film Festival has prompted some extraordinary security measures. The political thriller Fair Game is opening the festival tonight ahead of its international release.
We just gave an undertaking that we would, make sure that no one took mobile phones and cameras into the screening.
To see Fair Game, the security is absolutely at forefront as part of the contract of us securing and getting international rights to show it here in Australia.
The festival will showcase 53 feature films and documentaries from 26 countries.
Looks like a very good program. It's a really eclectic program, which is what a film festival should be. There's films from many different parts of the world and all sorts of styles and genres.
They include first-hand accounts of war zones.
This is the southern Korengal.
Deadliest place on earth, the Korengal Valley.
We're not ready for this.
There are also some unconventional alliances.
Ajami is a film set in Jaffa. And it's co-directed and co-written by an Israeli director and a Palestinian director. You'll come out of that film, I think, absolutely stunned.
As the festival enters its 14th year, new digital formats are posing some challenges.
We have 50 films coming from all over the world in different boxes and shapes and sizes, and we have to make sure we can screen all of those different formats.
The festival runs until November 7th. Kathleen Dyatt, ABC News, Canberra.
This is Win News.
Which direction should the ACT be heading? Hundreds have their say. The nation's capital is running out of land. Public transport is below par, while demand for both is rapidly growing. Experts predict by the year 2030, Canberra's population will increase by 80,000. And that's why hundreds turned out to a final public forum to help combat the challenges to make the territory sustainable.
The truth can sometimes hurt, but over 200 Canberrans were happy to face the reality of the capital's adverse forecast for the year 2030.
The city that's the least sustainable in Australia, running out of land to build on with inadequate public transport and a shortage of affordable housing.
A final forum with a panel of experts was held last night, discussing Canberra's vision for the next 20 years, where it's heading and where Canberrans want it to head.
They understand that over the next 20 years or so, Canberra will grow, but they believe that probably it has to grow in a different way, that it has to grow in a way that's essentially more sustainable.
There's been lengthy debate about how the community can sustainably grow. Over the past few months, experts consulted with over 500 residents, carried out 1,000 random phone surveys, and the website has received 52,000 hits.
What we heard very clearly, that if Canberra is to grow and grow in this different way, people are very concerned about what the built form outcome might be, what the buildings might look like.
There are some positive signs. Locals are taking steps to reduce our carbon footprint.
Canberra has the highest per capita rate of green construction of any capital city in Australia, 8 times higher than New South Wales.
There's 1 week left to share your opinions before a report drawing together those views along with the experts will be handed to the ACT government by the end of November. Shortly after, it will be made available to the public. Ashley Brown, Win News.
Hello and welcome to Stateline. I'm Chris Kimball. Coming up, a report card for Civic, and it seems the city's not living up to its potential. A visit by noted author and international planning guru Charles Landry caused something of a stir last week. He bought into the debate on urban density and said Canberrans are scared to interfere with Walter Burley Griffin's outdated plans. Mr. Landry is the founder of the Creative City Movement, a global push to rethink the planning, development and management of cities. He's known as the City Whisperer. Stateline sampled his impressions of Canberra from the ground and from the air.
Flying over, you could still see there's sort of dispersal going out and out.
Can we in general say that people are dispersing? Yeah, still dispersing.
In broad terms, a number of people in Canberra want density. You know, not everybody wants, to be hidden away in a secluded place. And if you break down the demographics of the people in Canberra, I'm sure there are a number of people who want different types of things, and it's that which a richly layered city will provide.
He's been dubbed the City Whisperer. He's in Canberra to talk to city planners, developers and also the Centenary of Canberra organisers about Canberra's future.
Difficult. I mean, one option.
Charles Landry did more than just whisper last week. He offered some home truths about Canberra's planning future.
Partly because of the Griffin plan and all of that, perhaps Canberrans are sort of frightened of actually thinking again about the totality, because we had the godlike plan or something like that. So there may be a bit of reluctance and fear.
He also offered a walking critique of the city's evolving heart, starting with the Canberra Centre developments.
This, and obviously I can see that people find this incredibly convenient, is it sucks everybody into it and clearly has sucked the energy from over here into here. Now, what typically happens in a thing like that, because this is a project and that is another project, in an ideal world, one would have said, okay, this is going to happen, this is going to suck all the energy from over there, this is going to basically have chain stores in it. How can we actually link these two projects together? And that seems to me the key point, that what you've got there is internalised here, and that over there is suffering, whereas in reality, it's a joint project, and that's where really the question is, are you developing projects or are you developing a city?
It's been 7 years since Charles Landry's last visit to Canberra. Back then he did the salsa in Garema Square for State Line.
I don't think really Canberra is the salsa, but you know, Canberra's got to surprise the world that it's not a boring, cautious place.
These days, with shutting shops all around, he'd struggle to attract an audience.
That's the dead centre of town. I mean, they might as well put a bloody graveyard in there.
Some say it's become a bit of a ghost town because of that suck into the shopping malls.
Yeah, which it clearly has, yeah.
When you see this area, do you see potential for this?
Well, it's obviously difficult. This is literally, you know, 60 metres from there. You've got enough generic shops in the new shopping centre. You've got every, you know, even I know the names of most of those shops. So we got that. So the question is, what is different? What have we got that's different? Which would be interesting to explore. You know, there's obviously lots of creativity in Canberra, sort of hidden away in all these vast suburbs that extend into eternity. I mean, you could bring some of them, for instance, here. You treat this as an installation, actually.
So this is Childers Street, a scene of, again, big change in Civic since you were here last. The ANU Exchange bringing the town and gown concept together. What are your impressions of this part of Civic?
Well, you have to say, wow, you know, when last time I was here, everything was beige. So we've got a bit of blue. That's my favourite colour, by the way, that blue. And I quite like the combination of blue and red. No, I mean, obviously this is a complete transformation. It sort of lifts the spirit. I mean, a lot of what a city's about is, does it make you go like that, you know? Students, you know, they're obviously only one segment, but they are one of the great revitalisers of cities. And one of the big problems historically has been, or the last phase of the last 30 years, is to put the universities out there. I mean, there's a whole big, massive debate in Europe about bringing all of these campuses that are somewhere over there back into cities. So it's a very lively debate, and this is a good example of doing it.
Can Canberra be one of the great cities of the world?
Well, you have to say yes. Obviously these things are difficult, but you know, it obviously had a great plan. That plan, we need to say what is its 21st century application and version. Yes.
Griffin 2.0.
Well, I think there needs to be a Griffin 2.0, definitely. I think that's what people are frightened of, is thinking through what that means.
The latest addition to Canberra's growing public art collection was unveiled today in Civic. The work fuses granite and steel in a technique perfected by the artist Koichi Ishino. At the Glebe Park unveiling, Mr Ishino said the piece represents landscape and sky. The ACT government's public art program has attracted some criticism, but another 8 to 10 public works are expected before funding runs out at the end of the financial year.
We'll have to review our program and see whether or not we continue it going forward, but I think it's been a fantastic addition to our street landscape, to our city. It's helping us to grow into a genuine world city.
The sculpture adds to 150 public artworks across the capital.